Hi everyone, and welcome back out to Harvest Hills Ranch. You know, a fellow YouTuber recently mentioned us in one of their videos, and they referenced us as being beyond organic. And we got to thinking, you know, we used to talk about being beyond organic, and for some reason, we haven't said that lately, but we are just as beyond organic as we've ever been.
I think we've so ingrained it into our thought process, it's just normal for us.
Yeah. So hey guys, I'm Dr. Arland Hill with Leah Hill, and we have a passion for all things nutrition, health, wellness, and ranching related, and that's going to be the focus of our conversation today. But we're going to take a deep dive into this idea of beyond organic. And what does that actually mean, and why aren't we happy with just simply being organic? Well, we're getting ready to explain that to you right here.
The wheels are turning.
The wheels are turning. Okay, so I thought I would kick us off here, and I've got an issue of Acres USA. This is a monthly publication that we receive and that we read, and I was going back through this. This one's actually about 7 months old. I got busy, I suppose. But there was something in here that caught my attention that is absolutely relevant to our conversation today, and it has to do with pears and apples. And this particular article was talking about setting organic standards
Or
and
adulterating them.
right? And so you think in terms of organic, and immediately you think chemical free.
It's good for you.
It's good for you.
It's organic.
But guys, listen to this. This is up in the West Coast of the United States, and essentially what this article boils down to is that growers of pears and apples were petitioning to use an antibiotic called kasugamycin. Wait a minute. This isn't allowed in other organic operations. It's a chemical, it's an antibiotic, and
It's illegal in other countries.
and the reason that it's not allowed to be used for in other organic operations in
Right.
other countries, right? So
Right.
if you're adhering to organic standards, you can't use this logically. But the rationale for using this, which to me is mind-boggling in and of itself, we're talking about a chemical. But the rationale for using this is that the alternatives are labor intensive, and there's copper and sulfur, which are somewhat toxic, as if to suggest that kasugamycin is not toxic, right? So inherently, I wanted to bring this to your attention because what this could relate to, or how this could directly affect you, is that as you're going through the grocery store and you're looking at these beautiful Granny Smith apples or these Gala apples that you're picking up, and you see the organic USDA organic stamp on that, and they think, Leah, that they are getting a chemical-free product, when in reality, guys, you guys could be getting a product that has chemicals applied to it. Now, did this actually pass? I don't know, but here's my bigger question on this. Why is this even a consideration? It's a chemical. And if at the end of the day, the average consumer is picking up a product with that USDA organic stamp or any other organic label on it,
Yeah.
right? If you're picking that up because you feel like you're making a better
decision.
better
Yeah.
decision, right? A better health choice, the question inherently becomes, are you really making a better health choice?
What's behind the label? What does it really mean?
So therein, you don't know. Now, let me tie this back to where we started at, which was beyond organic. Guys, we would never even fathom doing something of that nature if we harvest fruit out of our orchard. For example, our grapes, right? Our muscadine grapes in the vineyard. We're not putting any chemicals on that.
I put the chickens on it. That is my pest control. That is pretty much, they take care of it, and that's my fertilizer. Like, why would you want to put so many inputs when nature can do it for you? It's just mind-blowing how, you know, we go into things labor intensive, like, oh, it's so hard. Well, of course it's hard. You're growing. You are taking something, putting it into something else, and then making it grow. Of course it's labor intensive. Of course it's hard.
Yeah. So we wanted to share this example with you because it was, quite frankly, an eye-opening example to me as well. But lest you think that this is where the conversation ends at, and this is all we were going to bring to you around this term of beyond organic.
It's just a stepping stone.
It's the starting point, right? We're just starting to move through the stepping stones. Here's the next one I want to bring to you about this is when you're looking at organic and you see the USDA organic label, most of you look at that and think that the USDA is going out and inspecting all these farms. Now, let me pause for a minute because rarely do I interact with someone that says, I really love my government. I appreciate all the things that the government is doing for me. I am so excited that Big Brother is looking out for my interests.
And is taxing me for a name.
Guys, the USDA is a government organization. It is a bureaucracy like any other organization, right? And this is not to beat up on the USDA, but it is to shed light on the reality. And frankly, you can go pick up any product with a USDA organic label on that and validate what I'm getting ready to share with you, which is that they are using other organizations
to
validate the organic standards. You have multiple people in the process. There's multiple entities in that process. And every time you put a new hand in that process, you dilute the process, right? Maybe there's money changing hands. Maybe there's not. We're not going to get too conspiracy on you. But the point on this is that you've got a bureaucracy that is taking place or that is running this. And you cuss bureaucracies in all other facets and you complain about what the issues with those bureaucracies are, but yet we turn around and accept it when it comes to organic. That doesn't make any sense. It's the same entities, it's the same thought process being applied to that, so you can't apply that and not be judicious with one and not the other.
Right, they're all corruptible. I mean, it's just how it is.
They're all corruptible, right? So here's the question, Leah. Back to this beyond organic.
Right. Let's put some positive vibes back out there.
Right. So what bureaucracy do we adhere to?
We don't.
Oh, we don't?
No.
What organizational standards do we have to adhere to?
We're not a part of any.
Not a part of
lots of reasons.
Any, right? Mm-hmm. Who do we answer to?
No one.
God. And our customers and ourselves. Right? So at the end of the day, we're growing food for us and we're growing food for our customers. We want them to have the best and we want to eat the best. And so we're not going to cut corners. We're not going to sacrifice. There's more to this at the end of the day than quite simply $1. Now, I warned Leah ahead of time that when we got to this point in the video, I might jump on a soapbox. And if I do, I'll try.
And I'm not too far behind, but I'll try to
Yeah,
drag.
she might get on here with me and take some of my position.
Some of the stuff I hear, I'm just like, wow, let's go with facts, not opinion. And let's go with real science, not pseudoscience.
And let's also go one step further because as all of us assume, which I've already thrown a monkey wrench in that, but as we assume when we see organic, we're assuming that it is chemical free, right? And so let's just, from this point, let's make that assumption that when we see that it is. Here's the problem, guys. When you look at choosing a food that is optimizing your health, it has to be more than chemical free. Removing toxicity is one aspect of optimizing human health. The other aspect of human health is making sure that you have the basic critical cofactors to optimize your biochemistry. Stated another way, that is simply saying you make sure that you have adequate vitamins, adequate minerals, adequate antioxidants, secondary compounds, secondary metabolites in these foods, amino acids in there. These are the critical cofactors.
Plus, you're protecting environmental factors that you can't really control in the air. It's those such things to make sure your plants can detox those out.
Right. And so to say that we are organic speaks nothing to nutrient density.
Right.
There's an effort that has to be made to enhance nutrient density, which is ultimately what optimizes our health. And even as we've seen in the New England Journal of Medicine or the Journal of the American Medical Association, where articles from many, many years gone by speak to the role of looking at nutrients as ways of offsetting chronic disease. It's a basic concept, but it gets often overlooked in this organic conversation because we're so myopic, we're so fixated on things being chemical free that we forget about the nutrient density component to it, which, back to beyond organic, if we're looking at going above organic, beyond would mean that we have an interest in what the nutrient density is, and we want to have some conversation about that facet of the plant as well. Quite frankly, why else do we eat food other than to gather nutrition from it?
Right. I mean, most people's health issues start here. What goes in? What's in that food? What's really there? Is there actually nutrient? Is it alive? I'm going to use the pasta example. So you have, let's say it's organic, not sprayed, an heirloom type variety of wheat, and you go and you consume and buy an organic noodle. Well, there's nothing alive, nutrient dense. It's the most adulterated thing you can have. There's no value in that. I mean, it's dead nutrition. And when you put dead things in, your body's gonna just expel it out, and there's nothing that's actually taken into the body.
So just in case you're not keeping count, this is point number 4 that we're talking about here with Beyond Organic. And I'm going to say what Leah said. She did a great job of stating this. I'm going to say it only slightly different, okay?
I'm the layman's term, and he's the techie science background.
But it may actually be different on this one, right?
Oh,
and
ooh.
so simply stated here is you're talking about something that even though it has organic put on the label, it is taken out of its real food matrix. It is taken out of the form and the way that we would find that in nature. And inherently we know that when we consume that refined food, organic or not, it is going to be used differently by our body. We don't use it in the same way. We don't have the same nutritional composition with that. It doesn't react the same way in the body as if it was still in its whole food form.
And that's why they fortify foods, because they know they take it all out. But what they're putting back in is a synthetic, non-natural, and sometimes the worst form of the nutrient or mineral they're putting in there, and it's not anywhere near what it should be in its natural state.
So you even if you see that USDA organic label or any other organic label, I keep picking on the USDA just because they're the bureaucracy that I decided to bring to light through today's conversation, but there's other organic organizations too. And the idea here is that not that we want to downplay organic organizations or organic in general. I think it is a starting point, but it should not be an ending point. It should be the start of where you begin to look and source food and how you begin to ask questions about your food and not just make assumptions about it. Okay?
And the other piece with that is, well, why is organic more expensive than a genetically modified or GMO type source? Because they're spraying tons more chemicals, all synthetic, just the equipment, all this stuff that they do in a conventional farming model. Why is it cheaper?
Leah, this actually brings up something that you and I have talked about multiple times, and it's a question that, or when we get questions here at the ranch, people want, our customers, potential customers, they want additional information. And we're happy to provide that information. But this is always what we say back when you compare your local farmer against what you're going to the grocery store and buying. We pride ourselves in transparency. We have farm tours to illustrate the things that we do out here. I would ask you, as a consumer in general, go start doing that with the commercial products that you're buying.
Good luck.
Try to start asking questions. Well, who grew this? When was it produced? How was the land prepared that you grew this in?
What inputs did you put in the land?
What inputs did you use? Guys, you can't get anywhere with those questions and that's somewhat intentional because the whole...
I've tried. We
have tried just to validate what we're saying to you right now with this. So eliminate that entire ambiguity and find someone local to you that you can ask these questions of.
Look them in the eye, because we're all have that intuition when someone's lying to our face. Right?
So I actually hadn't planned on sharing that with these guys, but it was one of those spur of the moment things. All right, so that's the bonus, but we gave you the bonus before we're going to get to point number 5 here.
My bad.
And point number 5 is when you look at organic, there is an inherent assumption on that it is better for the environment. And if we're just thinking in terms of produce and vegetables, things of this nature, what we often see, many times these are following the same types of production patterns that we see with conventional options, meaning, let me clarify this so I don't get blasted for saying, oh, that's not accurate, but if the crop is harvested and that land is tilled up and that land is allowed to sit for any period of time before it is planted again, guys, that is not that much different than traditional agriculture. The only separation point on that is the application of the chemical.
The drying agents.
The problem with this, however, is when that tilling and when you're constantly turning the land over like this and disrupting the microbial networks, what's often called the mycorrhizal fungi in here, but when you're disrupting these communication networks, that is how the plants interact with the fungi to ultimately pull the nutrition into the plant. You can't continuously have that if the soils are disrupted on and on and on and on. It doesn't equate to quality nutrition. So the 5th point here is ecological preservation. Part of Beyond Organic is not just about the food that's being produced, it's also about how the land around that is being managed. And so we can't make this inherent assumption that just because it says organic on it, that it's all butterflies and unicorns everywhere, right? And every aspect of it is inherently better.
Perfect.
It's not, guys. You have to be realistic about what you're looking at and what you're looking to consume. And if you're not asking these questions and if you're not sourcing locally, I hate to tell you, but there's a high probability that you're probably being duped on some of these things that you think are wrapped up in that organic terminology that are not. So I go back to where we started, which is the term Beyond Organic.
Right.
So I hope that by listening to this, you can begin to understand when we say that we are beyond organic, there's
an intention. There's a thought process. There is years of functional nutrition, functional medicine. There is more than just, oh, here's a bunch of animals, here's some land, let's just throw them out there and see what happens. There's specific intention behind everything we do to maximize the animal's nutrition and in return, ours.
And at the end of the day, if all that you see in this is more transparency, that's what you need to be looking for. That's a core philosophy for us at Harvest Hills Ranch, and you can see why that's a core philosophy. Because even those pretty labels, at the end of the day,
mean nothing.
They're just marketing, guys. They don't mean anything.
It's a marketing group and a circle on a table of which one duped them the fastest. What was the last statistic? I think it was 30% of everything you pay for on the price of a product. You're paying for them to do all those testing groups, the marketing research. You're paying them to dupe you. It's crazy.
So we wanted to share this with you. We wanted to provide some insight into the terminology of Beyond Organic. Certainly, we hope you found that this is beneficial, eye-opening, if nothing else.
At least a little light bulb moment.
A little light bulb moment. There you go. And guess what, guys? There's a high probability we're going to be bringing you more information just like this. So we enjoy sharing this type of stuff. Yeah, it's going to happen, right?
Well, we like to shed light in the dark spots of things, and this is our passion. This is what we're here to do, and we have no problem being truthful and stating facts.
That's right. So if you're looking for more information about what we do out here at Harvest Hills Ranch, what we raise, what we produce, the animals that we have, you can go to harvesthillsranch.com and find out all about the principles and our philosophy of how we manage our ranch. If you want to know more about what we do and how we support patients on the clinical side, you can go to drarlandhill.com to find out all about that. Until next time, I'm Dr. Arland Hill with Leah Hill. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye.